Good day. Here are the top stories of the Manila Times for October 29, 2020. Employers can now temporarily lay off workers for an entire year during a national emergency under a new order issued by the Department of Labor and Employment, or DOLE. Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III signed on October 23 Department Order 2150 of 2020, which amended Section 12 of Rule 1 of the Implementing Book 6 on Employment Relationship. The Labor Court limits the floating status of workers to 6 months. Bello said extending the allowable floating status of workers to 1 year is necessary to protect workers from losing their jobs. At the same time, it helps employers recover from losses due to the economic downturn caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. The United Nations has mobilized in-kind support and technical assistance worth $1.4 billion to help the Philippines respond to the COVID crisis through 20 different agencies. According to Gustavo Gonzalez, the UN's resident and humanitarian coordinator in the country, the international agency has moved swiftly to support the government-led effort to contain the virus and limit its socio-economic impact. President Rodrigo Duterte wants to leave a legacy of a less corrupt government when he steps down from office in 2022. Palace spokesman Harry Roque Jr. said. He said Duterte wanted to give utmost priority to cleaning up the government in the remaining 2 years of his term. In 2016, Duterte won the presidency campaigning on a promise to fight corruption, crime, and illegal drugs. The president issued a memorandum directing the Department of Justice, or DOJ, to investigate corruption in the entire government. Senator Christopher Lawrence Bongo has lauded the renewed call of President Duterte to create an executive department that will focus on the needs and concerns of overseas Filipinos. In his Talk to the People program last Tuesday, Duterte said he is hoping for the establishment of the Department of Overseas Filipinos, or DOOF. Go said the need to establish the DOOF all the more becomes urgent because the COVID-19 pandemic has forced many overseas workers to return home. The death toll from Typhoon Quinta rose to 14, with 21 injured and 7 persons missing, authorities said. The Office of Civil Defense in Bicol said 5 persons drowned in the region. In Region 4B, the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council recorded 7 fatalities. Among the dead were a mother and her infant who drowned in Magsaysay, Occidental Mindoro. The other victims either drowned or were hit by a falling tree. 2 people also died in Region 7. In business, the Philippine economy could have rebounded in the third quarter of 2020, but state-imposed physical distancing measures would continue to weigh on its recovery from the pandemic, according to Capital. In a report on Wednesday, the London-based research consultancy firm said the country's GDP, or gross domestic product, is likely to have bounced back this quarter after shrinking by 16.5% year-on-year in the second quarter. The Philippines was plunged into a technical recession attributed to the strict lockdowns and other restrictive measures the government imposed in mid-March to curb the spread of COVID-19. In world news, nearly 800,000 children in the United States had been diagnosed with COVID-19 since the onset of the pandemic, according to a new report of the American Academy of Pediatrics and the Children's Hospital Association. A total of 94,555 new child cases were reported from October 8 to 22, which was a 14% increase in child cases over 2 weeks, according to the report. Altogether, 792,188 child COVID-19 cases had been reported in the U.S., and children represented 11% of all those infected. Over to sports, Clayton Kershaw and the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Tampa Bay Rays 3-1 in Game 6 on Tuesday night, Wednesday in Manila, to win their first World Series championship since 1988. One of the most accomplished pitchers in baseball history, Kershaw was undefeated in 2 starts with a 2.31 earned run average over 11 2/3 innings, striking out 14 and walking 3. Before this, Los Angeles had come up short in the World Series twice in the previous 3 years. At the PBA Season 45 Philippine Cup, the Phoenix Super LPG Fuel Masters battled the surging Alaska Aces of the Angeles University Foundation Sports and Cultural Center in Angeles, Pampanga today. The Fuel Masters are all fired up as forward Calvin Abueva marked his return with a near triple-double against the NLEX Road Warriors on Monday night. They are now inside the top 5 in the team standings behind undefeated TNT Tropang Giga, Rain or Shine, and the Barangay Ginebra Jane Kings, who are toting 4-1 and 4-2 win-loss cards respectively. Yen Macabenta and Ramon Tulfo are the Times featured columnists on the front page. Macabenta says President Donald Trump could win the U.S. election again. Tulfo talks about former Justice Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre II and his complaint against Senator Risa Hontiveros, who he says prejudged him in her committee's investigation into human trafficking at the Manila International Airport. The Times, in its editorial, lauds the Department of Trade and Industry for giving consumer groups greater involvement in its policy-making and regulatory concerns by drastically reducing the requirements for recognition of consumer organizations. For the full version, read the opinion section or listen to the Voice of the Times. For more news and information, get a copy of the Manila Times on print. Subscribe to its digital edition or log on to www.manilatimes.net. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And keep up with the Times.